Greenspot is a smart mobility company. That's what we like to call ourselves. What we do is we try and marry the adoption of electric vehicles with alternative forms of transportation. Basically, shared mobility, car sharing, first and last mile solutions, fleet solutions, whether it be municipal or otherwise, van pool solutions, other micro-transit kind of solutions. So what we try and do is we go to municipalities, we go to private developments, and we go to universities, and that's how I got here, because we were talking with Washington College, and because they're doing some good things, so we found each other, and we come in and we put in electric vehicle charging stations, and then at a majority of those stations we like to bring in shared mobility. We'll leave a few of those spots open for people to charge their personal EVs, but the main gist of it is that we bring in the shared mobility, which allows the community to reduce congestion both on the streets, reduce congestion in the parking lots, and also to do it in a sustainable manner because we're only using electric vehicles. Personal vehicles are driven 5% of the day, so they sit idle 95% of the time. If you take your typical car sharing company, their benchmark for utilization is 30%, right? That's 6 times the amount of a normal car. That's great. What we're trying to do is we're trying to take those extra solutions that I mentioned, the first and last mile, municipal fleet, stuff like that, and we're trying to push it up to 50 to 60% utilization. When you think of car sharing, shared mobility, it's the traditional meaning going back 15 to 20 years, but the traditional mobility options are in urban environments, right? You're trying to reach the masses that are in these big multi-unit developments in New York City and Washington, D.C. and things like that. So we're looking at it as, let's reach the first-tier suburbs, and okay, it seems to have done pretty well in a couple of places where we are. And now let's see what else we can do. If it were a pure car share play, it's a little tougher sell in a rural area. Because the vehicles need to be located in a convenient, accessible location for people to use. And if everybody's spread out all over the place on farms and things like that in a rural community, it doesn't play. But once you throw in those other types of solutions and you give them other options and reasons to use shared mobility, then all of a sudden it can provide those solutions to alleviate congestion. So working with Chestertown and working with Washington College, well, first of all, with universities, car share is awesome because now the parents don't need to send the kids to school with a car, right? There's car share there, sign them up for a membership, it costs a lot less, it's safer, it's cheaper, it's the whole deal. And you know, we can provide a solution for the university, for their municipal fleet. They don't need to buy new cars, or they can retire some of the cars, save some money, and use some of these cars for whatever their needs are. And then it's Chestertown. It's small, but it's also, they've got a tourist element to it, so tourists can come. You come in off the boat, and now you don't need to go and figure out, okay, what do I do, because I'm now off the boat and I don't have any transportation options. So now you have a transportation option, and you can go visit Ocean City or Rehoboth or wherever you want to go on the Eastern Shore. So it's somewhat of a pilot project. We want to see what the numbers are in terms of the utilization, and does it really decrease the amount of cars on the road and the vehicle miles traveled, and will people not purchase new cars and instead rely on the shared transportation aspect of it in a rural area? We already know it works in an urban area, but let's see how well it's going to work in a rural area and what the right fit is. So right now, the point-to-point is difficult from a logistical issue, from a logistical standpoint. What we envision is that we create a corridor of locations so that we can do that, so that we can go from Queenstown to Chestertown to Easton and Elkton and Northeast and Salisbury and Annapolis and everywhere else in between, so that you can go from point A to point B. I mean, right now it's point A to point A. It's a round trip. I mean, if you're going shopping for a couple of hours and you want to take 3 or 4 people with you, then you can all hop in the car, you go, you reserve the vehicle, you all meet at the centralized location. So instead of 4 people driving 4 vehicles, you have 1 vehicle driving, and it's an electric vehicle, so friendly to the environment, and they can use that and then come back. And there might be a case for people not needing to own that 2nd or 3rd vehicle for their household. And if the point-to-point we do see, as the corridors get built up and the locations get built up, we do see the point-to-point becoming much more prevalent, and something that we would love to see that. In our first and last mile solution, what it is in the urban areas, it's basically picking up 4 people who live in close proximity to each other and getting them to the transit hub. So the driver gets in the car at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we pay them hourly, and it goes around, picks up 4 people, gets them to the 7:24 train. He'll have his route mapped out. And then he drops them off at 7:20 for the 7:24 train, goes and picks up another 4 people, gets them to the 8:02 train. This could work very much like that. We hire a driver, we pay them hourly. He's got 4 seniors that need to go. And in the evenings, if we can find somebody, there'll be somebody that can take people into Chestertown for an evening of entertainment and then bring them home. It's all, because we are a for-profit company, it's about the economics of it, and the economics of the car and what else it might be doing, and whether we need to fill that utilization. Sometimes you want the car to be utilized even if you're not making money on it, because you need that car to be moving around and people to be using it, and now they're going to use it more at other times when it will be profitable. So it's all about the use case. That it's basic economics. It's supply and demand.